Hey guys, it's Matt from At the Movies with Matt and Ryan, and today's gonna be a little different. I saw a movie that Ryan didn't see, and I don't think he's planning on seeing it, so I decided I would do a little quick, short individual review, see if you guys enjoy it. Um, Today's movie will be Underworld Blood Wars, which is the first theatrical U.S. release of 2017, at least the first theatrical wide release. So this is the fifth movie in the Underworld franchise. The franchise origin is 2003. It started, and since then, the movies have received pretty lackluster reviews across the board. I mean, it's developed a cult following for sure, but it's not really a very critically acclaimed series, but its following has helped bolster the series to pretty successful numbers at the box office, and they're low budget movies considering their storyline. So they've made a nice profit for themselves, and the franchise is known for its like very stylized action and Kate Beckinsale as the star. So this fifth film, Blood Wars, follows Celine, who is Beckinsale's character, and she's thrusted back into the internal war between the Lycan clan, which is werewolves, and the vampire factions that previously betrayed her. Now, this movie does do a good job of, if you haven't seen the previous entries, it does get you up to snuff with a flashback sequence towards the beginning of the film that kind of really it gets you caught up in a nice way and has some good style to it. And I'm glad they included this because I really don't remember the other Underworld movies. They're pretty forgettable in story, but the reviews for this one have been really bad. It has like an 18 on Rotten Tomatoes, I believe. But I honestly thought it was just okay. I mean, it's definitely mediocre, but I didn't hate it. And I actually had fun at a couple points. And I really expected this to be like an early contender for my worst of list for 2017, even though it was my first movie of the year. But it's just okay. And in some ways that made me happy, and other ways it disappointed me because it does have a couple fun moments and a couple of moments where I was like, wow, this could have been a lot better. I give a lot of credit to Beckinsale for continuing to be a strong presence in this franchise. She is a really great actress and a very underrated one at that, and I think she's underrated because she's mostly relegated to these lackluster roles in action movies, but she does a good job in them. She definitely gives the movie, like I said, presence with her leading role and a sense of professionalism that the movie and the material badly needs. I think she makes what is a very thinly written character in Celine seem pretty interesting, and there's even a couple emotional beats that she hits well. I mean, she's a consummate pro, so I give her a lot of credit for continuing to always give her best effort in these movies. Maybe she should fire her agent. That's up to you. It's probably a nice paycheck for her at least. So there's a couple fun moments here, like I mentioned. I think the movie is at its best when it really appreciates the camping potential the story has. I mean, there's a lot of silly moments. Definitely the villain here, played by Laura Pulver. She really chews up the scenery here, and I like that. I like when the movie wasn't taking itself super seriously because, to be honest, the more serious portions of the film are pretty lackluster, especially the overwritten screenplay. I mean, there's the story is just way too much information. It's all over the place, and at the end of the day, who cares? It's a movie about vampires fighting werewolves, you know. But I just the thing that really lets the movie down though is that screenplay. It's written by Corey Goodman, who wrote Priest and Legion previously before this. If you've seen either of those first two films I mentioned, Priest or Legion, you would know that Goodman's movies have pretty interesting concepts. I mean, Priest and Legion both being very supernatural but horror, combination. But he's not good at filling in the details in an interesting way, and he's very bad at writing characters. Almost every actor here besides Beckinsale gives a pretty mediocre performance because their characters just aren't that interesting, and the dialogue is so weak, and then the delivery is so overly serious. So There's not a lot of personality, which is something I think the movie desperately needs to stand out from other like supernatural films. But Beckinsale, like I said, was good, and Pulver was okay, but everyone else mediocre. The action is, I think, the reason why most people would go check this movie out, and to be honest, it's really not that impressive. Now, to my information, the movie drastically cut its budget from the last one. I believe the last one cost about 70 million to make. This one was around 35 million, so that's half. And to make a movie like a big vampire versus werewolf movie with that kind of budget is it's hard to do, and you can tell areas where they really were, cutting costs. The CGI of the werewolves is very unimpressive. There's a lot of quick cuts to kind of hide some of these effects and the weak editing points, and it makes action scenes harder to watch when the cuts are so quick because you have no sense of where someone is in relationship to the person they're fighting and stuff like that. So for a movie that's about the action, it's disappointing that the action is just kind of unimpressive. I mean, it has flair, it has style, but that style is really misguided, to be honest. I just wish that the director, I believe, let me look it up real quick. Anna Forrester, I believe this is her first feature. Yeah, she previously directed the Star show Outlander. So yeah, she's supposed to direct Source Code too, which is kind of interesting. But I think she was trying to copy the formula from the other Underworld movies, and it isn't that successful. I don't think. I think the other ones at least had a little more personality in their action. And the story here is a mess. I mean, the concept's pretty simple. You got werewolves fighting vampires, but then there's all this the Legion and the delegates and all this BS. Like these movies don't need to be so complicated, and I think that's the problem. Is there's this weird juxtaposition of this extremely silly kind of fun premise and these really overly serious screenplays that make everything feels, let's make it big, let's make it important, and when it really should just stick to its roots. And I think that's where the film suffers, and I think that's where the series has suffered, along with the Resident Evil series. It's taking itself way too seriously, way more seriously than it should. And I think this movie, it's not the worst in the series because it has shadings of being campier than the other ones. Like I said, I really like Pulver's performance as the villain, and there's a lot of scenes where she's really, playing almost kind of like Game of Thrones. She's like so evilish or evilish. That's not even a word. Wicked and villainous was the word I was looking for. Not villain. What, I don't even remember what I said. It's whatever. But yeah, she is the only one besides Beckinsale who has any personality, and I think it's that lack of personality that left this movie being very forgettable in my mind. I mean, I saw it about like 6, 7 hours ago, and I've pretty much forgotten it already. And that's a shame because I just wanted to have fun with it. I don't care what the reviews say, I look at them obviously, but it's not like I just wanted to have a fun time with this. And to me, it just ended up being mediocre. I mean, I'm glad it's not one of the worst movies of the year and it wasn't torturous. I mean, I was engaged throughout its 90-minute running time. But I was let down because it had promised to be something really silly and fun and just kind of light. But these movies keep opting for the more heavy, epic feeling, and it's not what the simple premise really fits. So I'd give the movie a 4.5 out of 10. That's a fair rating, I guess. It's pretty mediocre. I think if you caught it on TV one day, you'd be pretty happy. I mean, maybe not, but it's engaging at least, and it's quick. It's like I said, 91 minutes. That's short, so that's not a recommendation, sadly. But if you watched it on TV, I don't think it'd be the end of the world. So that's my review for Underworld, Blood Wars. Maybe some more of these solo reviews in the future, depending on whether Ryan sees the movies or not. I know he wasn't particularly interested in Underworld, and I can't blame him. So hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe, comment, like the video, all that fun business, and have a good day. Thanks.